BJ. Very basic Bible. Got my shadow over there. Gonna do a Bible study through Book of Jeremiah. Go ahead and share screen. There we go. Share that puppy. Uh, all right. Bible Gateway. Got Google. Got two. Yeah. All right. Last time on Jeremiah. We read the first three verses, went through them pretty good, I think. Now we can go to Chronicles and also go through those same verses. But we're going to wait a while. Why? So in the future, we can refresh our memory. Reason why I'm looking over here, because you see on the screen how I'm up in the, how I'm up there. Yeah. I put the, I put my face right in front of the camera. Well, then I'm looking right below the camera. See, yeah. Um, all right. Here we go. Most of the time I'm looking at the Bible. So we'll go ahead, lest I get it. We could go through Chronicles because Kings and Chronicles parallel each other on the Judah timeline, mostly parallel each other. Some stories are left out. A few details seem to be changed. But it just talks about Judah. Chronicles does. Well, here Jeremiah is talking to Judah. He's not talking to the northern nation of Israel because the northern nation of Israel already sent off to exile. Right? Let's go see. Second, you hear my cat messing up the counters. He needs to stop that. Second Kings, we'll go to 15. Azariah, king of Judah. Okay. Zechariah, king of Israel. Shalom, king of Israel. To my knowledge, if I'm remembering correctly, those are two of the last, maybe the last ones. Oh, Menahem, and then there's Pekahiah, and then Pekah. Let me see. Uh, in the time of Pekah, king of Israel, Tiglath-Pileser, king of Assyria, came and took Ijon, Abel Beth Makkah, Genoa, Kadesh, and Hazer. He took Gilead and Galilee, including all the land of Naphtali, deported the people to Assyria. So this dude, Tiglath-Pileser, king of Assyria, comes and attacks Israel, takes all the people, takes the whole land of Naphtali. Remember, there's 12 tribes. One of the tribes is the tribe of Naphtali. Takes it. Man, he's like destroying the whole place. Let's see. Menahem. Okay, wait. Shalom. Let me see. He attacked Menahem son again, one from Tyr. He attacked Shalom. Oh, then Menahem, son of Gadi, went up from Tirzah to Samaria. He attacked Shalom. So now we got one guy in Israel attacking another guy in Israel because look, Menahem, in the ninth year of Azariah, king of Judah, Menahem, son of Gadi, became king of Israel. So now we got Israel attacking Israel. Menahem did evil in the eyes of the Lord. Oops. I don't know how that happened. During his reign, he did not turn away from the sins of Jeroboam. Jeroboam built at the very beginning of Israel's history, the northern nation of Israel. Jeroboam was the first king of the northern nation of Israel. 2 golden calves, set them up so people would not go to Jerusalem to worship the one true God, but they'd worship the one true God at those calves. He's like, I don't want my people going south to the nation of Judah. I want them to stay north of the nation of Israel. Let me build, I guess, temples and items and sacrifice places in Israel so they don't go down south to Jerusalem and Judah. That was sinful, obviously. And Menahem, yeah. Did not turn away. Oh, look. Menahem exacted this money from Israel. Every wealthy person had to give 50 shekels to be given to the king of Assyria. Oh, then Pul, king of Assyria, invaded the land, in the land of Israel. Menahem gave him 1,000 talents of silver. Okay. Assyria withdrew. Okay. Menahem rested with, and Pekahiah became his son. Let's see. Pekahiah did evil in the eyes of the Lord. He did not turn away from the sins of Jeroboam. One of his chief officers, Pekah, son of Remaliah, conspired against him, taking 50 men of Gilead with him. He assassinated Pekahiah. Pekah assassinates Pekahiah, along with Argob and Ariah. Maybe those are the king's sons. You kill the king, the son becomes not if you kill his sons. So Pekah killed Pekahiah. Okay. Let's see. Pekah, son of Remaliah, he did evil in the sight of the Lord. He did not turn away from the sins of Jeroboam. And that time, king of Israel, Pekah, king of Israel. Now, instead of Pul up here, remember Pul, the king of Assyria? Now we got this Tiglath-Pileser, king of Assyria, came and took all these cities and all the land of Naphtali. Man. Jotham, king of Judah. Okay, so Judah's still going strong. Keep going. Ahaz, king of Judah. Oh, look at this. Now Assyria. Ahaz sent messengers to Tiglath-Pileser, king of Assyria. I am your servant and vassal. So now Ahaz is doing dumb stuff, making alliances with foreign kings. Okay, Ahaz did some bad. Hoshea, last king of Israel. Okay, 12th year of Ahaz. Hoshea, son of Elah, became king of Israel in Samaria. He reigned 9 years. Why didn't the son of Pekah become king of Israel? No. All right, right here. Oh, Shalmaneser, king of Assyria. So we had Pul, then we had Tiglath-Pileser. Now we got Shalmaneser. Oh, that's look like Esser. There's Tiglath-Pileser and there's Shalmaneser. So maybe ESER, maybe in Hebrew or Syrian language, whatever, maybe that's the kind of like we talked about um um there was okay right here. Zedekiah, his name was Elikiah, right? Um if you go back and you watch the first and the second one, Zedekiah's name was originally, man, this is too much. Why do I start looking all this stuff up? It's too much. Okay. So I point out the names just because it's kind of interesting. It's just kind of neat to see similarities in names because the root meanings of words are the same, right? You know? Okay. 2 Kings 23. Let's see. Josiah renews the covenant. That's good. There's what I was looking for. Jehoiakim's. That's what it is. Okay. Eliah. Okay. I was wrong about Zedekiah. All right. Jehoahaz, 23. Remember, we read this because this is the first, you know, the Lord began to speak to him in the 13th year of Josiah, and he continued to speak to him until the 5th month of Zedekiah, of the 11th year of Zedekiah. Okay, so Jeremiah is speaking to all these kings. He's speaking to Israel during all that time. Jehoahaz is during that time. He's one of the kings of Judah, the northern. Okay, Pharaoh Necho put him in chains. Let's see. Pharaoh Necho made Eliakim his son of Josiah, king in the place of his father Josiah, and changed Eliakim's name to Jehoiakim. Eliakim, Jehoiakim. Now, El, as we said, just means God. Jeho means Jehovah, means Yahweh God. I forget what the Eakim means. We looked it up on, that's not too important. And as you see back here, there was Tiglath-Pileser, and here's Shalman Esser. I could look it up on Google. It's not the most important thing. I just noticed it. So it's kind of neat. Anyway, so we got another king of Assyria going to come up to attack Hoshea. He had been Salmaneser's vassal and had paid tribute to him, but the king of Assyria discovered that Hoshea was a traitor, for he had sent envoys to So, king of Egypt. Everybody wants to go to Egypt. Josiah was like, during the reign of Zedekiah, right before the official exile of the southern nation, they try to go to Egypt to get help. Some of them do get to Egypt and they stay there. They go beyond Egypt. It's like they always want to get Egypt. In the 9th year of Hoshea, the king of Assyria captured Samaria. So not just some cities and a tribe, not just a bunch of cities and a tribe of Naphtali, but Samaria, all of Samaria. I call it the northern nation of Israel. Samaria is what they called it. That's where Samaritans in the New Testament comes from. He settled them. He deported the Israelites to Assyria. He settled in Mahala and Gozan on the Hermon River in the town of the Medes. Okay. All this took place because the Israelites had sinned against the Lord their God, who had brought them up out of Egypt from under the power of the Pharaoh, king of Egypt. They worshipped other gods, followed the practices of nations the Lord had driven out before them, as well as the practices of the kings of Israel had introduced. Kings introduced stupid practices. The Israelites secretly did things against the Lord their God that were not right. From watchtower to fortified city, they built themselves high places in all their towns. From watchtower, the most remotest place out in the middle of nowhere, all the way to the fortified city. Everywhere in between, high places. A high place is to offer sacrifices to gods. Jehovah said, Yahweh said, one high place, period, Jerusalem. So they're not only sacrificing probably to Yahweh on these high places, but what's it say? Worshipped other gods. They're probably worshiping other gods on these high places. Everywhere high place. These people are no longer Jews. Right? They set up sacred stones and Asherah poles, idols, on every hill and under every spreading tree. At every high place they burned incense, as the nations whom the Lord had driven out before them had done. They did wicked things. So you can see. But look at this. They would not listen. Oh, right here. The Lord warned Israel and Judah through all his prophets and seers. Now, Jeremiah was not a prophet and a seer for the Samaria or for the northern nation of Israel. Isaiah was. I believe Hosea was. There's some others we could find. Jeremiah was not. But here we can see, what does Jeremiah do? The Lord warned Israel and Judah. So the Lord warns Judah through Jeremiah, through all his prophets and seers. Turn from your evil ways. Observe my commands and decrees in accordance with the entire law that I commanded your ancestors to obey, and that I delivered to you through my servants, the prophets. Turn from your evil ways. Observe my commands. I delivered this stuff to you through the prophets, but they would not listen and were as stiff-necked as their ancestors who also did not trust in the Lord their God. People are like, I'm being taken captive and because stuff my father did. I'm being punished for the sins of my father. Sorry for digging in my nose. I'm being, it's the sins of my fathers. And God's like, nope, you are just as bad as them. They rejected his decrees and the covenant he had made with their ancestors and the statutes he had warned them to keep. They followed worthless idols and themselves became worthless. They imitated the nations around them, although the Lord had ordered them, do not do as they do. They forsook all. Okay, we get it. Samaria resettled. The king brought people from Babylon, Cutha, Ava, Hamath, and Sepharvaim. The king was there and settled them in the town of Samaria. Okay, yeah. So that's where Samaria. Wait. The king was there. Have one of the priests you took captive from Samaria to go back and live and teach the people what the God of the land requires. The God of the land. See, king of Assyria. Oh, the God of their land. The God of their land is Yahweh. He's the God of all the lands, but Yahweh's left Israel. He's not. He's still God of their land because he's the God of every land. But in a sense, he did leave Israel. So he's not the God of their land. He is ultimately he created everything. It's the king of Assyria is like, oh, a certain God for this land, a certain God for that. And Yahweh's like, I'm the God of every land. Anyway. Oh, look at that. Each national group made its own gods. That's where you get the Sumerian, each national group. So there were like some Israelites probably who were poor and who did get left behind, some that probably ran away and then came back, maybe. You have the priest at least. And then you have these people from Babylon, Cutha, Abba, Hamath. Let me see. They worship, they must be careful. Okay. They would not listen, but persist in their former practices. So God's like, y'all just keep persisting. Okay, I keep telling you what to do, but that's why Israel's no longer a nation. It's just Judah. Yeah. But now, when did Jeremiah come on the scene? Hezekiah, king of Judah. Well, that's whenever Isaiah is I said Isaiah was for Israel. Isaiah is for Judah. Oh my. I know Hosea is for Israel. Amos. Let's go look really quick. I want to say Amos. But when Uzziah, king of Judah, Jeroboam, son of Jehoash, there's a second Jeroboam. So the first Jeroboam ever, but this is the second Jeroboam. The Lord works from Zion, thunders from Jerusalem. The pastors, okay, that's what the Lord said for 3. Okay, full chapter. Judgment on Israel's neighbors. Yep. For sins of Gaza, for sins of Tyre, sins of Edom, sins of Ammon. Let's go. Sins of Moab, sins of Judah, for 3 sins of Israel. So he's all of Israel's neighbors, including Judah, then Israel. I keep hearing strange noises. Witnesses summoned against Israel. Here's people, the word spoken against you, against the whole family body. Now, sometimes Israel is used for even the southern nation of Judah, but I believe Amos is talking to the northern nation of Israel. If we were to read this, we'd be able to figure it out. Oh, look, assemble yourselves on the mountains of Samaria. Okay. I wonder if, oh no, Ashdod and Egypt are somewhere else because it's proclaiming those fortresses. I'm looking really fast, Destroy the altars of Bethel. That might be in Israel or Judah. If you're talking to Israel, then it's most likely. Hear this word, you cows of Bashan on Mount Samaria. I'm going to type in, that's the second time I saw Bethel. Here. Bethel, Gilgal. Map. Let's see. Oh, it says Israel. Well, the time of Elijah. Elijah did speak to Israel. Elijah spoke to King Ahab, who is the king of Israel, not the southern nation of Judah. Yeah, Dead Sea. Let me see. Oh, Jerusalem, Jericho, Bethel, and Gilgal. So somewhere along here would be the border between the northern and the southern nation. Oh, I think they put one of the cows at Bethel. Yeah. It's kind of fun, huh? 1 Kings 12. Israel rebelled against Rehoboam. Okay. Golden calves at Bethel. Yeah. Jeroboam fortified Shechem in the hill country of Ephraim and lived there. Shechem. From there, he went out and built up Peniel. Jeroboam thought to himself, the kingdom will now likely revert to the house of David. If these people go up to offer sacrifices at the temple of the Lord in Jerusalem, they will again give their allegiance to. So this is near the very beginning. Jeremiah, not even a gleam in his mother's eye yet. Now, God knew him, obviously. After seeking advice, the king made 2 golden calves. He said to the people, it is too much for you to go up to Jerusalem. So see, those kings that were in Israel that were doing the gods of the nations, yeah. That were following after the sins of Jeroboam. That's what I meant to say. I don't know what the guys are. They were. This is the son of Jeroboam. Um, Here are your gods, Israel, who brought you up out of Egypt. Two golden calves. He set one up in Bethel and the other in Dan. Now there's the tribe of Dan, which is kind of in the south, but there's a city called Dan where a lot of the tribe of Dan settled for some reason, and it's way in the north. Way in the north. So yeah, pretty certain that, let's see, left click, Amos 4. Let's go. That Amos is talking to the northern nation of Israel. But if we go a little more forward, 5, let's look. Fallen is virgin Israel. That could be, for such says to Israel, seek me and live. Do not seek Bethel. Do not go to Gilgal. Do not journey. Beersheba is in Judah. Gilgal is right on the border. I'm looking real quick. Woe to you, day of the Lord. Okay, let's just keep going. Woe to you who are complacent in Zion. That's Judah, the mountain Zion. And to you who feel secure on Mount Samaria. That's Israel. So now he's talking to both of them, right? Yeah. All right. Chapter 7. Here we go. Somewhere in Amos and Amaziah. Okay. Then Amaziah, the priest of Bethel, sent a message to Jeroboam, king of Israel. Amos is raising a conspiracy against you in the very heart of Israel. The land cannot bear all his words. For this is what Amos is saying. Jeroboam, the second Jeroboam. Remember, people have repeated names. There's Jeroboam. Oftentimes the Bible will say Jeroboam too, with too little. Yeah. Jeroboam will die by the sword. Israel will surely go into exile away from their native land. Then Amaziah said to Amos, get out, you seer, go back to the land of Judah. So he was in Judah, I guess. Oh, hey, the Lord took me from tending the flock and said to me, go prophesy to my people, Israel. So he went from Israel to the northern nation of Israel to prophesy. Okay. Yep. Your wife will become a prostitute in the city. Your sons and daughters will die by the sword. Man, because God's sending judgment via battle and war. Your land will be divided up. We heard about that. Took all those cities, took Naphtali, and then he put a bunch of different people in different places in the land. The king of Assyria did all that. You yourself will die in a pagan country, yeah. And Israel will go into exile away from their native land, away from Samaria, away from the 10 northern tribes of Israel. So when does Jeremiah come in? Okay. After Hezekiah, which if I remember, let me see. Let's go. Let's go. Okay, right there. Hezekiah, king of Judah. Chapter 18. All right. Hoshea, the last king of Israel. Samaria resettled, right? Yeah. Okay. We talked about that. In the 3rd year of Hosea, son of Elah, king of Israel, of Hoshea, son of Elah, king of Israel. It's not that Elah is the king of Israel and Hoshea is his son. It's Hoshea, who is the son of Elah, is the king of Israel. Sorry. Okay. Hezekiah, son of Amos, king of Judah, began to reign. He became king in that year. Hezekiah. After Hezekiah, Jerusalem's deliverance foretold. Okay. Hezekiah's prayer. Hezekiah's illness. Envoys from Babylon. Okay, right here. As for the other events of Hezekiah's reigns, all his achievements, how he made the pool and the tunnel. Okay, right there. Hezekiah rested with his ancestors, and Manasseh, his son, succeeded him as king. Manasseh was 12 years old. He became king. He reigned 55 years. 55 years. His mother's name was Hephzibah. He did evil in the eyes of the Lord, following the detestable practices of the nations the Lord had driven out before the Israelites. He rebuilt the high places his father Hezekiah had destroyed. Hezekiah tried. He also erected altars to Baal, made Asherah pole as Ahab, king of Israel, had done. Remember talking about Ahab? Ahab was a wicked, evil king. Manasseh's like, I don't care about you, Hezekiah. I'm going to go back to Ahab. He bowed down to all the starry hosts and worshipped them. They saw the stars as gods, not capital G, creator of all things, gods, but gods as in angels, demons, supernatural creatures that were strong and powerful and can do things, right? They were like, oh, we better worship them lest they kill us. Or, hey, we better worship them to gain their favor. Or, hey, they're there. That's what we do. We just worship gods. God's like, no. The God is like, no, you worship me only, not these spiritual creatures that I created, that some who have run amok. No, and some who follow me. Don't worship them. Worship me only. Manasseh. Nah, don't think I will. Come on, Manasseh. All right. The Lord said through his servants, the prophets. Is this Jeremiah? Jeremiah might be let me think. He was alive during Josiah's reign. And Josiah, let me see. Amon was 22 years old. He reigned 2 years. His mother's name was, Manasseh rested in the garden. Amon, okay. But he only reigned 2 years. Josiah, okay. Let me see. Amon's reign. Josiah, his son, succeeded him as king. Okay. So depending on, I mean, we maybe could find it and look it up. But depending on how old Jeremiah is, I think there's some kind of tradition that you're supposed to be 30 when you enter the priesthood or something. You got at least 20, I think. So Jeremiah, when he's already a priest, when he's a prophet, he starts prophesying in the time of Josiah, right? Where is it at? The word of the Lord came in the 13th year of Josiah's reign. So if Jeremiah, let's say he's 20, let's say 20, he would have had to have been born. He could have been, yeah. He would have had to have been born before, because if he's 13 years, let's say Jeremiah was born the first year Josiah was king. He'd be 13 years old. He won't be a priest yet. Okay, if he was born 7 years before Josiah was king, 7 plus 13 is 20. So he's 7 years old whenever Josiah starts his reign. The 13th year of his reign, okay, so Josiah's reign, Jeremiah is 7. The 13th year of Josiah's reign, Jeremiah would be 20. So Jeremiah had to have been alive during Amon because he was king for 2 years, and some of Manasseh, at least 5 years. If we're thinking 20, 5 plus 2 is 7. 7 plus the 13 for Josiah is 20, right? You see the math in my head? Some of you are like, yes, BJ, we get it. Some of you are like me and are like, I don't know. And that's why, very basic Bible. Spell it out meticulously. Man, I keep buzzing my nose. I got allergies. Drink some more of my Gatorade. BJ. Yeah, very classy, huh? Gotta drink some Gatorade because later I'm gonna go to Lake Georgetown, Goodwater Lake, Goodwater Trail in the middle in the woods. There's some parks. It's a lot of woods. This trail is super duper rocky. You're trying to walk on it, you twist your ankle, you step in holes, you trip on sharp rock. It's fun to run. Don't trip, which I've done. And you go down, you bust your knee up, you scrape your hands, or you just one time it was pretty flat and dirt, but I kicked something, a sprig of grass, just a little tiny sprig of grass, and I fell and went, boop. I didn't even try to put my hands out. I just took it. Oh, you trip whenever you trail running. Try not to, of course, but it happens. My wife gets worried. That's why I'm drinking a Gatorade. But for now, in the Bible times, they had people that would run and bring good news. There's a battle being fought. Somebody was like, hey, there's a story where this guy's like, hey, let me run back and bring the news to the king, and they would run back and, just run. So I mean, I could have done that, you know. Uh, how beautiful on the mountain are the feet of those who bring good news. I think that's what that. I'm pretty sure that's what that's referencing. That's what I recall learning from Bible study teachers. So, because how beautiful are the feet on the mountain? Why? Because they're bringing hey, they're bringing you good news. They're running to tell you some victory. Hopefully they are, right? So the feet are beautiful if they're coming to give you good news. You know, so I could have been a runner in the in Bible time. Instead, I just do it for fun. Okay. So Jeremiah was alive during the reign of Josiah. I'm going to say 30 for a priest. If he was 30 years old, let's say he was 31, because he was one of the priests. So let's say he was 31. He was called his first year. Okay. Oh, wait, you know what? Down here, though, I really don't know how to speak well enough for that, for I am too young. Because I am a youth, for I am only a youth. If he's 30, he's not a youth, but he's not an elder either. He'd be, he's not an old gray headed person. But to be a priest, I mean, I guess you could be, maybe the 30-year-old tradition hasn't been in place yet. Maybe Jeremiah is the son of a priest. And so he's, let me see, one of the priests, just because he's the son of a priest. But if he's like 10, you know, that would mean if he's 10, then he was born in Josiah's reign. He wouldn't know about Manasseh, but he would be told probably. He would see Josiah making all these reforms, right? Remember we talked about Josiah starts making all, he would see that. And he would be like, why are we making all these reforms? They're like, hey, remember, he would have learned Israel's history that we just talked about. He would have learned Judah's history that we kind of talked about. Kind of a similar thing. They worship idols, they do stupid things, God saves them. They worship more idols, do stupid things, call on God, God saves them. They worship idols, do stupid things, they call on God saves them, kind of, over and over. Sometimes they forget to call on God and they just kind of get lucky. Manasseh and Ammon, quote unquote, lucky. God's got it all in control. Manasseh and Ammon are just doing everything. Manasseh is just shedding innocent blood. He's sacrificing babies in fires to foreign gods. Then his son, for 2 years, his son Ammon, for 2 years, does the same thing. Was it 2 years? Ammon, 22, when he reigned Jerusalem 2 years, okay. He forsook the Lord, the God of his ancestors, did not walk in obedience to him. Yep. Ammon's officials conspired against him. Good. I mean, you actually don't want to kill people. You know, So actually, it's not good. Actually, it's not good. It's good that he wasn't king for longer. It's not good the way he wasn't king for longer by being assassinated. So there we go. Josiah succeeded him as king. Okay. So Manasseh and Josiah just doing dumb things. Then comes along Manasseh and Ammon doing dumb things. Then comes along Josiah. Um, Jeremiah would have learned about that. He would have heard about that. He would have been taught that. That's what they're in Deuteronomy. It's like, teach my people this, that, and the other. Teach them everything. In Exodus, hey, have these feasts to teach them everything. They taught them everything. They taught them. Now, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy talked about teach your kids my laws and statutes. Teach your kids the festivals, and teach them the mighty works of God, which came along with the festivals. Usually, like one of like Passover, the mighty works of God did all these 10 plagues in Egypt, and did the whole Red Sea crossing, and there was a flower, pillar of cloud by day, fire by night, all that. So, God provided manna and quail in the wilderness during the Exodus. God beat up these kings. These kings come try to attack Israel. God's like, whatever, get out of here, kings. All these great things. So that's what they're told to teach their kids. All the great things, all the festivals, all the commandments. I'm 90% sure they would have taught their kids, here's the bad stuff that's happened. Here's the good stuff. Here's the history. Yeah. Pretty sure they would have taught them the history because they teach them the law via the stories. The stories are what teach them the law. They didn't have scrolls that they read from, it was oral, right? His these stories have been passed down for generations. So Jeremiah was only a few generations from Manasseh. He would have known this. When it was, he'd have been told about the crappy things that all the kings did, especially Manasseh and Ammon. He would have known Josiah was doing reforms. Even if he was young, he would have known this. So why is he doing reforms? Oh, because Manasseh and this and that did something. I mean, he's a priest. Priests are generally more in the know. They generally learn more stuff. Makes sense, right? Yeah. All right. It's only been what 35, 30, 40 minutes, but I gotta go soon. So now we know where Jeremiah is. Jeremiah is at the very end, like Israel, northern nation, or the exiled. Jeremiah is at the very, very end. That's when the word of the Lord started coming to Jeremiah. Let's see. Now, this doesn't say, we'll just start this real quick. I'll just read through it real quick and we'll talk about it a little bit. This doesn't say the word of the Lord. This word sounds like it's the very first word ever. Kind of sound, people take it that way, but it might not be. Might not be. God might have been speaking to him before this. But let's see. All right. We'll read over here. ESV. The words of Jeremiah. Okay, well, yeah, son of Hilkiah. Okay. Now the word of the Lord came to me saying, it doesn't mean now, like at this period in time. I don't think it means that. Yeah. Okay. Before, wait one second. What's that? Isaiah 4. Okay. Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I consecrated you. Look at this. In NET, I set you apart. Before you were formed in the mother's womb, I chose you. In NABRE, I dedicated you. A prophet to the nations, I appointed you. Over here. Oh, I'm sorry. Formed in the womb, I knew you. Knew you. You were before you were born, I dedicated you. Over here, I consecrated you. Over here, before you were born, I set you apart. Right? I formed you in your mother's womb. I set you apart and appointed you. Consecrated you, set you apart, right? Yeah. All right. Appointed you a prophet to the nations. Now, nations generally means not Judah or Israel, but the Gentile nations. Generally, what that means. Okay, we are going to see Jeremiah is going to preach mostly to Jerusalem, but he does preach to other nations. And when he prophesies and preaches to Jerusalem, he talks about if y'all would do good, then the nations would come in. Talks about that. He talks about someday Israel is going to be a seat for all nations, not just Judah and Jerusalem, not just Israelites, all nations. So Jeremiah would in a sense, if he's speaking to Judah, he speaks to Judah, they eventually speak to all nations. Kind of like how Jesus saved the whole world, even though during his lifetime, he just had disciples who were Jews. He just came for the Jews. And then the disciples spread his word to all nations, even though Peter started out in Jerusalem and Judea. Peter eventually and John went to Samaria. Samaria. Yeah. Went to Samaria. Sorry. It's kind of forced upon him. It was like, wait, people in Samaria getting saved, I better go. So Peter is the apostle to the Israelites, but he goes to Samaria. Now, Peter, the apostle to the Israelites, Paul, the apostle to the Gentiles. first person who preaches to a Gentile family big time, gets saved, makes a big ruckus about it. Peter goes to Cornelius's house, preaches to him. He gets saved. He gets in a bunch of trouble. They have a council about it. All the people come together, and talk about it. Right now, Paul has been going to Gentiles, and he's to the Gentile nation. But it seems they take Cornelius as the watershed moment, and that was through Peter. So even though Peter's an apostle to the Hebrews, he ends up being, in a roundabout sense, apostle to all the nations, right? Yeah. Pretty cool. That could be kind of what's going on here. I'm not saying that exact formula. I'm saying it of a mindset, Jeremiah is an apostle to the nations via being an apostle to Judah. And later he does preach to some nations. So, he does. He goes to other nations. So, and you just general, okay. Then I said, so there's what God said. That'd be if God said that to you, be like, God can do anything. God's all powerful and all loving. God will take care of me. If God said, "Hey, I'm on your side," I'd be like, "Yes," which He has. Yes. God said, "I want you to do this for me, and don't worry, I've set you apart. I've appointed you, me." Um, yeah. God, I'd feel like it. Well, Lord God, behold, I do not know how to speak, for I am only a youth. That happened with Moses. Moses at the burning bush. God's like, "Hey, Moses, you're gonna go and get Moses." Like, I don't know how to speak. I can't speak. And God's like, "Don't worry, I'll put my words in your mouth." And he's like, "Get my brother Aaron." And God's like, I think God, no. Maybe he does. I don't know. Moses like, "What if they don't believe me?" And God's like, "Hey, I'll show them your some miracles through you." Moses, just choose anybody. And God says eventually his anger just, "Come on, no, I have chosen you. But hey, your brother Aaron's coming. He can speak for you. You do the watch of VeggieTales." And it was Moses and Aaron, the vegetables. And Moses was like, Moses told Aaron, "You speak the words and I do the thing with the stick," because he had the staff, Moses. So Aaron speaks, Moses does the staff thing, right? Moses didn't want to do it. He was complaining with God. If God asked me to do something, would I complain or would I go, "Well, it is God. So not only A, should I listen, but B, I could probably just do anything and be protected." You don't want to do stupid stuff, of course. Yay, God got me protected. So I run out in front of an 18-wheeler or something. It's like, what? Still use wisdom. God can protect you from anything. So I'd be like, yeah, God tells me to do X, Y, and Z. Would I? Okay. But the Lord said to me, "Do not say, I am only a youth, for to all to whom I send you, you shall go. And wherever I command and whatever I command you, you shall speak." So you're going to. Don't be afraid. It's going to happen. Okay. I mean, don't say I'm a youth. Don't make excuses. It is going to happen. Okay. Do not be afraid of them. So God doesn't say, "Hey, I'm going to make sure that you're not afraid of them." God says, you don't have to be afraid of them. God, you, Jeremiah, are going to be, let's say, you're going to be tempted to be afraid of them. You're going to want to be afraid of them. Circumstances are going to happen that would normally make you afraid, but don't. "For I am with you to deliver you," declares the Lord. Don't be afraid of them. I'm there to deliver you, declares the Lord. Pretty cool, huh? Then wait, if God's going to be there to deliver him, does that mean he's going to get in trouble? Because up here he's like, let me see. I do not know how to speak. I am only a youth. Okay. Should you have to be afraid of not knowing how to speak because you're a youth? Maybe like, "Wait, you don't know what you're saying? Ha ha ha, little kid, whatever, get out of here." And you get picked on, you get shooed away, "Oh, that little kid." Or, "Ha, listen to him, that stutterer, ha." What if he's like, "Well, what if I don't know how to speak, God? What if I say the wrong thing and they end up hurting me for it? They end up because I say the wrong thing because I don't know how to speak." don't think that's what it's saying here. Do not be afraid of them. So why would Jeremiah be afraid of them? Let's see. V. What's that V? Oh, that's part of the. It's on all of V. V. Oh, 8, verse 8. We're going to see why God's like, don't be afraid of them. Is Jeremiah afraid of them? Is maybe him saying, wait, I'm just a youth, I can't speak. Is that an excuse he's giving outwardly, but God knows his heart? God knows Jeremiah is like scared. He's probably seen what's been done to other prophets. Some prophets get, taken to jail. They get beaten, they get, people don't like them. And stuff like that is going to happen to Jeremiah. So maybe Jeremiah knows. I mean, Moses got like rejected by his own people. Then he got chased out of Israel into the wilderness. Um, Jeremiah knows about Moses. Jeremiah knows about people like the judges who got beat up and who people rejected. No Samuel who got rejected. Elijah was in the world. I mean, Jeremiah probably knows this, like we were talking about earlier. He learned stuff. So is he too young or is he scared? Like God saying, "Don't be afraid of them, for I am with you to deliver you." Why would God say that to Jeremiah if Jeremiah was not afraid of them? You know, we can't see and we can't read their minds. We can only read the text. So, and then I can bring in my own situation. Maybe I do think I don't know how to speak, but then I'm like, okay, what would I say? Okay, mayor of the town, you're sick and disgusting, and you've been doing really bad things. You need to repent and admit how horrible you are. Ooh, that some of that's gonna Jeremiah's gonna say stuff like that. Yeah, I'd be scared to say that. You know, police, security guards, take this man away. People are gonna think I'm cuckoo. Okay. Then the Lord put out his hand and touched my mouth. And the Lord said to me, behold, I have put my words in your mouth. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. See, I have set you this day over nations and over kingdoms to pluck up and to break down, to destroy and to overthrow, to build and to plant. So we got three things here: pluck up and break down, destroy and overthrow, build and plant. Build sounds good. Plant sounds good. Okay. So you're going to pluck the plants out and you're going to break the cities down. You're going to destroy and overthrow everything. But then you're going to build the city, break down. You're going to build, plant instead of pluck up. Pretty cool, huh? The Lord put his hand and touched my mouth. We're going to read this slower next time. We're going to look at other places in the Bible where this happens. It's pretty neat. He touched my mouth. Behold, I put my words in your mouth. I've set you this day over nations and over kingdoms. Why? His words. His words. Did Jeremiah know that? He knows that prophets preach words. Prophets don't destroy. The prophets aren't over kings and nations because they're better governmentally, because they have more power physically, because they gain more money, because of economic advantage, because they're sneaky and crafty and they can assassinate, because they can work hard. I can just work really hard and work my no. Work my way. That's not how you're set over. Prophets were set over by speaking God's word to people. Speak God's word to them. That's how prophets are set over people. And later we'll see God saying that. God says to Jeremiah, I will make them stubble, and your words will be like fire. So when you speak, it burns them up, essentially. So he can do, with just his words, he can do all that. In the New Testament, Paul talks about we do not use weapons of war, but we cast down arguments with weapons of war in the right hand and the left, casting down their arguments and such. He says we don't have literal weapons where we literally attack people. Paul doesn't say that. Paul says we have weapons, words by which we cast down people's arguments, and every lofty word built against the Lord. Preaching and reasoning is the way we defend, is the way we attack with from God. God gives us his words, we give them out. So, all right. Oh, hey, look. And the word of the Lord came to me saying, okay, there we go. All right, guys. That's good for this very basic Bible. Stop share. We'll see y'all in the next one. Next Bible study along, maybe. Love you all much. Lord God, we're just thankful that you can help us understand your word more. That you can help us really get into it and delve in to the meat of this. Thank you, Lord God, for being so good to us. Thank you for giving us your words, and let us use them wisely in the way you'd want us to use them. And thank you for your ultimate sacrifice, of course, in Jesus Christ, your Son. Died on the cross, rose the third day, sits in heaven now, reigning over it. Thank you, Lord. Amen. See y'all in the next very basic Bible.